What's up, y'all? It's Lukey. So we got a big Bay Area boxing card coming up this weekend. It is a battle of two undefeated fighters. We don't typically get these type of cards locally, so that's why I'm putting together this program. For those nationally, internationally that listen to the program, I want to give some of our guys a little bit more of a shout out for this fight that really is a really high level fight. And the guys are really fighting when there's not the media attention or probably the purses that should be there for the high level type of fight this is. This is two undefeated featherweight fighters who are very high level fighting at for a very affordable price for you to go see it. Not quite sure the price points, but it's squarewarriors.com. You can go on the website and find out about it. But the fights are January 21st at the Pleasanton Fair or Alameda Fairgrounds, Pleasanton, California. Real great venue. It's real fun facility. But I'm saying all that to say this. I interviewed Adam Fel and Albert Torres. You can listen to them both. I'm going to do them in order that I interviewed them. So Adam Fel is going to come up first. And you can kind of get a little bit of backstory and just hear how the fighters are feeling leading up to this. So you can get a little bit more. And maybe you can get more invested into this fight. So without further ado, here's Adam Fel. Adam, how are you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling great, man. I'm in tip-top shape. Been training at the Snag Gym. Just started last week, and we've been training hard, man. I'm ready.
And I saw a lot on your Instagram. You're posting a lot about your past. You're posting that you lived in the Philippines, that you've been doing this for longer than just like a couple of years. Do you feel like Alberto Torres, the undefeated fighter, is coming in trying to take your spot in everything you've worked for in life?
Of course. Anytime you fight, that's what they're trying to do. You know, he's trying to take away what I got. He's trying to take away my future. You know, this is a type of fight that will take us both to the next level. You know, we're both undefeated. We're both from Northern California, you know, and that does mean a lot. You know, so for each of us, it's a big fight, you know. It's a huge fight. So, I've been posting a lot about my past because, you know, I'm ready to showcase what I got. Main event on a big card and for a big fight. So, got to represent.
Tell people a little bit about your past for those that don't know a ton about it.
Well, when I was 18, right out of high school, I had an opportunity to fight against the Philippines at the University of San Francisco. I went ahead and fought. I actually lost the fight, but they thought that I won the fight, and they actually invited me over to the Philippines. So I fought for them for about a year, and then I took number one in the nationals over there, and then I fought in Bangkok, Thailand, for the qualifiers. I actually didn't make it to the actual Olympics, but it was a great opportunity. You know, I went over there fresh out of high school, didn't know the language, didn't know nothing, didn't really know anyone there either, you know. So
how is that?
You know,
because that's pretty scary. I lived in Armenia, and I didn't speak any Armenian, and I lived there for 6 months, and it's pretty tough, man. Because how did you get by?
I had people, the local fighters, the other guys that were with me, they would help me out. You know, really got close to a lot of them. But it was tough. Yeah, man, it was really tough, you know, living somewhere you don't know, especially when you're that young. You don't know anything. You know, it's a whole different country, total different people, you know, total different everything. So, I mean, they took care of me. They, you know, you kind of learn a lot about yourself. Now, it's, you know, when you're there, it's not all about boxing, you know. You get to know yourself. You know, I'm a Filipino, so those are my roots. So I really got to, you know my people, like where I'm from, where my family's from. You know, I understand why they took a trip to come to America. You know, I kind of understand now everything, you know, kind of all came to light when I went there, you know, and it was real hard for me. You know, we slept in a classroom for some tournaments because there was nowhere else to go, or they didn't have the money to go. You know, I could go and, you know, get a hotel, but I'm not going to leave everyone behind, you know. So it was real hardcore. Yeah.
So what a lot of people might not know about Alberto Torres, who you're fighting going into this fight, is I don't know if it's been just his way or both of you guys, but I know Albert's been trying to get a big fight, and it's been Daniel Franco and it's been you. Those are the two names he's been wanting. Daniel Franco, I think, is a little beyond him right now. He just won a regional title. But has he been talking a lot of crap about you, kind of, do you feel? And is that why you wanted to take this fight?
Yeah, definitely. I think on Facebook he called my coach and his son scum. He's talking about I'm scared to fight him, about 2 contracts. I remember only signing 1. And then, legitimately I did hurt my rib. You could talk, I don't usually get on Facebook and social media a lot and talk, but for this fight, I really wanted to get people to know and come, and see what this is all about and what I'm all about. So, this is a fight for, I think, Sacramento at the same time because we're both training Sacramento,
Well, I didn't realize this because I didn't follow him on Facebook. I just sent him a request because of that. That's kind of I thought he was just kind of on some like I'm gonna beat you up, I'm the better fighter, but he actually attacked your coach. Like I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, and him and his coach Marcus, they used to work together. Him and my coach Mateen, and I think they had some type of falling out. So kind of goes
there's
in
like
a little
a grudge
deeper.
Like this is like a grudge match on multiple levels. I get what you're
Exactly.
saying. Yeah, so it's like your coaches don't seem to like each other. You don't really like this guy because he's kind of being disrespectful.
Yeah, I've known him for a long time. It wasn't no disrespect until I started hearing talking about how I'm scared and I didn't want to take the fight. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Because we sparred together too, back in the day. So,
how did that go?
I don't hate the guy. It's just don't. It went good. He's a southpaw. I always thought I took the better of him. I never seen him in, when we were in the amateurs. He never made it very far, I didn't think.
Yeah, one thing that I noticed about it is that between the two of you, you're the more active fighter. Do you think that's going to play a role in this fight?
I think so. That's why we go out to Mexico and take this fight. Sometimes it's hard to find fights out here. It's easier to pick up fights over there. So, I really think so. I've been a lot more active. I've been fighting a lot more. I've been fighting more on a more consistent basis. So, I think that does play a role into it instead of, coming fresh out, not fighting for about 6-7 months,
And your last Squarevision card, I know you were really disappointed. It was a quick stoppage and no contest with Jesus.
Yeah, that's why we took that fight first because, Albert fought Jesus Sandoval twice. He got a draw the first time and lost the second. And, we were going to take Sandoval first and take him out and then go on to Torres. But, it was a disappointing no contest. I didn't think that it should have went that way, but, it is what it is.
Okay. And then I just saw on his, you posted a social media video for those that don't know, and I'll put it up on your Facebook where you signed the contract literally. And for anyone that doesn't personally know you, you're not a very, I don't want to say outgoing, but you're not a social media outgoing person. You're not going to post a lot of your business on there. So for me, that really kind of struck me as different because that's not the way you conduct yourself.
Nah, usually I don't. But for this one, because he kept talking about, I'm not going to sign it until he signs it. So that's why we did that.
Okay. So
Albert was saying he didn't want to post. He didn't want to sign a contract until he knew that I signed it. So that was specially for him.
So that was kind of...
For some reason, he thinks I'm afraid to fight him. But that's not the case.
Well, I mean, we're just 1 week away, so it's obvious that both of you guys are down to fight. Before I get you out of here, I want you to do 2 last things. I want you to explain, just without going into too much detail, how it's been being in the snack gym and balancing that with Sacramento, and kind of why this camp is so good this time around.
Oh, we're focused. The opponent, is a lot more focused, a lot more motivated. Going to the snack gym is great sparring. There's guys there who are in the same boat, trying to make it. A lot of good pros. They got a lot of good training facility. They have the high altitude dome. They got a lot of good high altitude training. So, I mean, going back and forth, that's what you got to do. I mean, you really got to give up everything you got to do, your life for this. That's the only way you're going to be the best. And right now, I'm feeling at my best.
And who are you getting that work with at Snack?
Victor. I got the guy's last name.
Little Vic Pasillas?
Exactly. That's
pretty
the man
strong,
right there.
pretty strong little guy, man.
Nice, strong. Oh, yeah, real strong. Good fighter, good sparring. And, I mean, I don't think that he's going to be bringing anything that Torres can't.
Did you know that there's another Vic Pasillas? So there's a guy out there that has like a 500 record that has the same name as that guy that you sparred.
Is that right?
Yeah. So if you don't send the right contract to the right address, you could get that guy and think you're getting a journeyman.
Oh, that would be a bad one, man.
And they
fight whoever you fight, he'll have in trouble.
Yeah, for sure. And just before I let you go, because I'm going to let you go right now, I want to get this jog in. But give people the information on how to buy tickets, where this fight's going to be, and why people should come out this weekend.
Fight's going to be at the Pleasanton Fairgrounds in Pleasanton. It's going to be a great fight, man. It's going to be an action-packed fight. We're both from Northern California, both undefeated, both want this fight. And it's going to be an action-packed fight. I mean, I'm not going to hold anything back.
Okay. Is there any fight on the undercard you're interested about as well, I should ask?
Honestly, I haven't been focused on any of the other cards. I haven't even checked who else is fighting. I've been so focused on just who I'm fighting. I haven't even really checked it out.
Well, that's actually an answer I like hearing. I like hearing that. I like hearing tunnel vision because I tried to explain this to someone today, and I bet you'll relate to this. I don't like hearing people saying they're good at 3 things because I don't believe them. Because it's really hard to get good at one thing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. To master one thing.
Yeah. So I don't really like people telling me they're good at 3 things because that tells me it's bullshit. So I feel like you almost have to sacrifice everything that you is comfortable in order to be a master. And when you say that kind of answer,
one thing.
Exactly. So when you said that answer, that tells me that you're very ready when you're not even focused on anything else outside of this fight.
Exactly. You know what I'm talking about, Lukey.
I do. I'll see you in a week. Can't wait to see you, Adam.
All right.
And now here's Albert Torres, the man he will be fighting.
Oh, it's all good, man. It's all good.
So how are you feeling? This is like the biggest fight of your career. How are you feeling going into it?
Oh, I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling great. I just had my last sparring session yesterday. I'm feeling great, man. I started cutting weight about a week ago. It's not much that I have to cut, and I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling great.
What does this opportunity mean to you at this point in your career?
Well, it means a lot. I know Adam. I know Adam's a tough fighter. He's got a good record. And I think this will get me closer to where I want to be, man. And that's I want bigger fights. I want tougher opponents. I feel that the better that my opponent, the better my opponent, the better I do.
Okay, yeah, very much so. I know you. The 2 names you've been wanting is Daniel Franco rematch and Adam Fel. Well, you got the Adam Fel rematch. I talked with him earlier this week, and he actually kind of said this fight's a little bit personal now because he said like you kept calling him out so much that now he feels personally invested in the fight. He almost is offended by it.
Well, this I think this started I want to say about maybe a year and a half ago. The fight was brought to our attention. I think it was one of these local matchmakers that asked about the fight, and I wasn't going to turn it down. I knew that it would be a good opportunity, and it wasn't anything personal, and it's not personal with me. If he wants to make it personal, then that's fine. This is just just like another fight. I have nothing against the dude. He says that I was talking bad about him. What I said were facts. He pulled out after he pulled out. We signed a contract the first time he pulled out. He fought in Mexico a week later. I let that go. Wasn't a big deal. Second time around, he pulled out. He got hurt. And I was kind of wondering. I was wondering if the guy even wanted to fight. So like I said, it's not personal with me. I mean, if it's personal with him, hey, if that's what pumps him up, that's what gets him going. That's fine with me. I got nothing against the dude. I wasn't talking crap. What I said were facts. They were facts. He pulled out the first time, fought in Mexico, pulled out the second time. And it's like, nobody's ever really 100% going into these fights. But to me, if I sign a contract, I'm fighting, man.
No, I hear what you're saying. You strike me as like an old school guy. You got kind of an old school boxing trainer. You got an old school boxing mentality. You're not really on social media. You're not the easiest guy to find via social media. You just have an old school mentality. Would you say that defines you as a fighter, kind of?
Well, yeah, I'm a worker, man. I'm a full time worker, man. I started boxing 10 years ago. I had my first amateur boxing match back in '06, and I was working full time then, and I'm working full time now. I work. I'm a family man. I got kids. This sport, I started boxing, to kind of get me, keep me out of trouble, and I got a lot of responsibilities, aside from just boxing and stuff. Like I said, I got kids and I got a job, so I really don't have time to clown around or,
partake in foolishness.
There you go. I like the sport. I love the sport. And I feel that. I've been dodged. A lot of people, a lot of fighters are dodging me and stuff, and I just want to fight, man. I just want to fight, and fighting guy, fighting bums isn't gonna do anything for me, So that's why I'm going for, some of these better guys, some of the guys with good records, some of these local guys, and it's nothing personal, First time he pulled out, I was a little upset, but it wasn't a big deal, Second time, to me it's like this. To me it's like, hey man, it's putting a little money in your pocket, putting a little money in my pocket. I got nothing against you. I mean, if you want to. If you got something against me, hey, that's cool. If you're gonna play tough guy or whatever gets you going, hey, that's fine with me, man. I just want to fight, man.
Yeah. How do you look at because he's got the experience edge on you? How do you look at you're coming into the sport a little after he got into the sport? How do you think experience will play a factor? And also, you've been out of the ring for a little bit, so like, how do you think ring rust and experience will play a factor in this fight?
Well, when I first started training, man, I mean, I was sparring with professionals after I want to say a good 8 months of learning the sport, learning the art of boxing, and I've always, we spar, we spar 2-3 times a week, and I'm a southpaw, so there's not very many good southpaws out here, so I get a lot of work from a lot of good local professionals, and it's been like that for years. Guy Robb, I've sparred with Andy Vance a couple times. I spar, I mix it up with a lot of good fighters, so I don't think experience wise, I stay sparring a lot of really good guys, a lot of really tough guys. Like I said, I'm a pretty decent southpaw, and a lot of people around here know that, and word gets around. So, we get a lot of good sparring from a lot of different people, a lot of different clubs, a lot of different styles, and I've been able to adapt to a lot of these styles. So, as far as experience, I wouldn't say he's got more experience than me. I think we're pretty evenly matched, and I think that the better my opponent, the better I do. So,
So you think you rise to the moment, like you rise to the occasion.
Oh yeah. I just got done. Like I said, my last sparring session was yesterday with Xavier Martinez. He's with team
Mayweather.
The money team. And I mean, he's 7-0-4 as a professional. He's been fighting often, and I mean, I mix it up with that guy. We mix it up pretty good. Like I said, experience wise, I mean, yeah, he might have a few more amateur fights, than I do, but the amateurs are not the pros, man.
Yeah, I was just kind of saying, like, he got, like, I believe he's been boxing since he was like 10 years old or something. So it's like he's been around it longer. But I get what you're saying too. You're saying you're around like the baddest dudes. You're getting all that tough work. So you're catching up and you're about at the same spot.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Like I said, man, I spar nothing but I spar tough guys, man. We don't dodge anybody. We don't with like Franco, when I fought Franco, I know the guy had a lot of experience. I know but we didn't dodge him, and to be honest, I won that fight. I know he's walking around with a belt now, and I know he's avoiding me, and I know he doesn't want the rematch. And that goes to show you that.
Would that be your dream? Would that be your dream if you were to win on this coming Saturday, January 21st? That you would fight Daniel Franco in the coming year, coming off a big win over Adam Fel, if that's possible?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's every boxer's dream is to avenge a loss or avenge a draw. I got a draw, but I won. I won that fight. So I think it's every boxer's dream to get a belt. I think that belt would do me some good. It'll get me bigger fights, and I think this fight with Adam will do me a lot of good too. Once I fight and beat Adam, I'm kind of hoping to get that fight or fight another tough guy. But I'm gonna keep doing what I gotta do in order to get that rematch with Franco, so that way I can get that belt, man.
So I take it you're after this fight, you're pretty focused on Franco.
I'm focused on Franco or anybody else, any other tough guy that is willing to take a fight with me. Like I said,
if you got a good record, you want to fight him.
Exactly, man. I'm trying to cut in line, man. I'm trying to cut in line. I know there's a lot of guys trying to work their way up. A lot of guys trying to build their records. Well, I'm trying to build my record, but with good fighters, man. I think I have what it takes to fight, to fight good fighters. And like I said, I think that the better the boxer, the better the fighter, the better I look, the better I do.
Okay, well, sell us on the fight. Let people know that haven't bought tickets or don't know necessarily where the fight is. Give them all that information. And if you got T-shirts you're selling fight night, let them know.
Yeah, we got T-shirts. We got, as a matter of fact, I'm sold out. I think we've sold a little more than $5,000 worth of tickets, and we just ordered more. So it's gonna be a full house, man. I got a lot of family out there in the Bay Area that are gonna be out, supporting me too. Got a lot of my family here from SAC that are gonna be out there. So as far as the support, as far as fans, we're coming, man. We're gonna be deep, man.
Okay, and just the date and where the fight's at?
The fight is at the Alameda County Fairgrounds, and the fight is January 21st. And I am the main event, if I'm not mistaken.
You are.
Yep, and I'm the main event. And man, you guys come out, check it out. It's gonna be some good fights. A lot of good fighters on the undercard, and it's gonna be a good fight. Food, fun, family. Come out and support us, man.
Well, thank you for the time, Albert.
No problem, man. Thank you for taking the time to get a hold of me, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, talk to you soon.
Take it easy.